Let's be real for a second. Have you ever tried to sell something in your DMs and it just felt super awkward? Or even worse, you poured your heart out and then just got completely ghosted? Well, today we are breaking down a simple but seriously powerful playbook for turning those exact conversations into actual sales. And the best part is, you never have to feel like a pushy salesperson. Let's dive in. Okay, so it all starts with this one huge, and I mean huge mistake that almost everyone makes. We think we lose sales because of the price, or maybe our product isn't good enough. But the truth? The sale was probably already dead in the water before you even got to the offer. Why? Because the entire approach was wrong from that very first message. And here it is, the fundamental error we're all guilty of. We get so excited about our thing, our product, our service, and we can't wait to just talk all about it. But listen, the customer doesn't care about your product. Not yet. They care about their problem, their pain. You have to make this massive shift in focus from your solution to their situation. This leads us right into the first core principle of this whole playbook. And I want to be clear, this isn't just a tactic, it's a complete fundamental shift in your mindset. I want you to start thinking of yourself less like a salesperson and more like a trusted doctor, right? A good doctor doesn't just walk into the room and hand you a prescription. No way. They ask questions, they listen carefully, they diagnose the actual problem before they even think about suggesting a solution. This right here, this is the mindset for everything else we're going to talk about. So, okay, how do you actually diagnose someone's problem in a chat? Sounds kind of abstract, right? Well, it all comes down to a really simple but incredibly powerful framework. It's called the A to B method, and it's built on just 3 questions. That's it. First, you find their point A, their current reality, by asking what they're doing right now. Second, you uncover their point B, their dream future, by asking what success really looks like for them in a year. And then the most important part, you find the gap. You find the real problem by asking what's stopping them from getting from A to B. And you know, the real magic here isn't just you asking the questions. It's about you shutting up and deeply, truly listening to their answers. Because that's where you find it all, their pain, their hopes, their frustrations. That space between their point A and their point B, that's exactly where your solution is meant to live. That's where the sale is made. So once you understand their A, their B, and that crucial gap in between, your next job is to guide their mindset. The goal here is to get them into a very specific psychological state, a state where they are totally ready to make a decision. We call the state the buying zone, and it's a really delicate balance. See, they have to believe their goal, that point B you talked about, is actually possible to achieve. But, and this part is so crucial, they also have to realize they can't get there all by themselves. If a prospect is outside this zone, they're just not going to buy. On one side, you've got the too confident person. They're thinking, oh, I got this, I can do this myself, I don't need any help. And on the other extreme, you have the too hopeless person. They've already given up. They think their goal is impossible. Neither one of these people is ever going to pay you for a solution. So your role as this expert diagnostician is to gently guide them to that middle ground. If they're a little too confident, you remind them of the real challenges in the gap. If they're feeling hopeless, you show them a clear path forward, making success feel totally achievable, but with the right help, of course. You're basically anchoring them in that sweet spot where real decisions get made. Okay, you've had an amazing conversation, you found the gap, you feel the connection, and then crickets. They go silent. This right here is where most people completely fail. They just give up. But the pros, they know the real work might just be starting. I'm sure we've all heard the old saying, the fortune is in the follow-up, but honestly, very few people actually do it, or they do it in a systematic way. Giving up after one message goes unanswered is like leaving a huge pile of money just sitting on the table. You gotta be persistent. Now have a look at this follow-up sequence. It's definitely unconventional. It's not about nagging them. It's a strategic series of little pings, each one designed to cut through the noise. Day 1 is a simple, get my note. Day 2 is literally just their first name. It's a classic pattern interrupt. By day 4, you show some concern. Day 6, you break all the tension with a funny meme or a GIF. And finally, day 10, you create a little bit of urgency. To pull this off, your attitude has to be this perfect mix of 3 things. You have to be shamelessly persistent because you truly believe you can help them. You've got to be relentless in just executing the system. But through it all, you have to be always, always respectful. Now here's the beautiful part. If you've actually done all these steps correctly, the final part of the process, the actual close, it becomes the easiest part of the whole thing. It can seriously feel almost effortless. Let's just do a quick recap of what you've already done by this point. You've found their specific pain. You've shown them the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And you've carefully guided them right into the buying zone. Do you see how all the heavy lifting, all the real work is done before you even mention an offer? This is probably the biggest takeaway of the whole playbook. When you finally do present your solution, it doesn't feel like a pitch at all. It just feels like the obvious, logical next step for them to solve the exact problem they just finished telling you all about. You're not selling them anything. You've just created the perfect conditions for them to sell themselves. So I want to leave you with this last thought. This playbook, it's not just a collection of clever tactics to make a few one-off sales. It's a repeatable system. It's a machine you can build to consistently turn everyday conversations into real cash flow. So the real question isn't, how can I make my next sale? It's, how can I build the machine?